So this is my suburban habitat, my suburbitat, and I'm going to survive here. It's nice Tennessee humid heat. So today we're going to talk about Radishes sativus. I guess I pronounced that right. But that is also known as the radish. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Radishes? Come on, kids grow radishes. Yeah, I know. But the thing about them is they grow easy and they grow fast, and you can't beat something like that to keep some food sources going in your system. Now, so far everybody thinks that all I've been talking about is gardening, which is true, but this is a prep channel and I will get to other subjects. But right now this is kind of a priority for me to get this system set up so I can move on to some other things. But no need to fear, I'm prepping. Okay, back to radishes. This radish in particular is the cherry bell. It also looks like it could be a champion, but I know this one is a cherry bell. He's pretty small. The square that he was in probably got more shade than it should have. These are also referred to as summer or spring radishes. And I've heard that I've heard it both ways, that they work well in spring and then in fall, or I've heard it where they grow well from spring to fall. So in my system, I'm gonna just plant them all the way through. Start in spring and plant them all the way through to fall. They grow best in full sun, and in my research I found that some will say they should be thin from 1 inch all the way out to 6 inches, just depends on what you're eating. They seem to work best, or work well, at 16 per square foot. So if you're a square foot gardener, you know what that means. And the radish is also relative to the mustard and the turnip. The radish has a rapid germination and 3 to 4 weeks to harvest. Now in my area, which is middle Tennessee, they say the best season is from March through August, but I will plant them all the way into fall. So I will sprinkle these throughout the garden, all through the season, through spring, summer, and fall, and I'll keep them in places where they get better sun. This little guy just didn't get enough, so I learned a lesson there. And a good tactic to keep a continuous harvest is to plant a new square like every week. They prefer a sandy loam with a 6.5 to 7.0 pH. It seems that any good Mel's Mix type of soil works well. And although the taproot is eaten mostly, the leaves work very well as a leafy vegetable. I've eaten both, and they both have a nice peppery taste to them. Nutritionally, the radish is very rich in ascorbic acid, folic acid, and potassium. And the radish is a good source of vitamin B6, riboflavin, magnesium, copper, and calcium. If you let the radish grow past its harvest period, it'll bolt out to flowers and to pods, and you'll get your seeds out of your pods. Radishes are fairly easy to grow, and they're a constant source of food if you continue with a planting each week and keep up on your harvest. I may try to let some of them bolt and see what I can do with the seeds. So this is the square that the little radish came out of. First thing I did was loosen up the soil. Then I added some fresh soil to the square to bring it up to the level of the box. and plus you get some fresh nutrients and microorganisms and stuff going for the new planting. Throw in a little bit of worm castings. So I'll sprinkle on some azomite rock dust, real good for minerals in the soil. Then I'll do what I call finger tilling, where I mix up the new soil, worm castings, rock dust with the older soil. Then I'll level it out. Then I use my finger to gently tap out even lines within the square. That way I have 16 even spaces that I can put a seed in the center of each space. And just tapping out that line makes it easier for me to see where it's going. Now the seeds, I learned my lesson the first time, because the first batch I did, I only put them 1/4 inch into the ground, and they didn't grow the little bulb at the end. They just sprouted straight up with a red stem. And as I read further, I realized that I needed to go about 1/2 inch into the soil. So the next time I did it, I went about knuckle deep to the first finger, and some of that worked, and some of it still didn't work, because after I made a little hole, and then when you put the seed in there and you start sprinkling a little more rock dust on there and pushing soil into it, it actually ends up not being quite 1/2 inch. So now I'll go almost to the second knuckle just to make sure it's deep enough, and from that point it seemed to work a little bit better. Now this square that you're watching me plant right here, it's the one that got more shade than it did sunshine, and so although they did grow and produce some bulbs, you didn't see the 2-inch in diameter that you could get with especially the champions. And then when I drop the seeds in, I'll let 2, maybe 3 seeds fall in each hole, and then after they sprout up, I'll usually choose which one looks the healthiest, and I'll take any others away from that particular hole. And then instead of pushing soil over it, I'll pick up a little bit more soil with my little shovel and then just scrape it off in there. That way I'm not changing the depth of the seed by pushing that soil off the side. I'm leaving the depth where it's at, and I'm just putting fresh soil into it. Then I'll just kind of remark my lines, and all that does is allow me to see where those squares are at, so I have an idea where to water or where to look for sprouts to come up. And as soon as I'm done with that, I'll water them in and wait for them to grow. Alright, so that's the process that I go through with my radishes, and they seem to work pretty well for my system, so I think I'll keep them in my sustainability system. The best thing to do is, if you get a little bag of seeds, usually on the back they'll show you like a map of the states, and it'll have different color codes on it. And I don't know if you can see here. I don't know if that's going to focus for you or not, but basically it'll show different color codes on there, and then it'll tell you over there, you know, like April through July or March through May and August. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this little video. I hope you maybe learned something. I sure appreciate you viewing it. You can follow me on Twitter, and you might find me on Facebook if you look hard enough. So please subscribe, and thank you very much.